Hello and welcome to the official NoN-eSports YouTube channel. I am Kadoink, and today we have another game from NoNSheggi, our orange Protoss player representing Team NoN-eSports down in the bottom right of Antigua Shipyard, and his opponent is yet another ESC player. Last week I talked about ESC and how Goody was on the team, and now he's playing him. So we have ESCGoOdy, the purple Terran player. For those of you who don't know, Goody is a player who loves to mech. In fact, he's known for his mech play as well as his long hair. So yeah, NoNSheggi versus Goody. Very excited to be casting this. And in a little bit of news, I think I have caught a cold, or maybe developing a cold right now. So if my throat sounds a little weird, that could be it. I woke up this morning and my throat's feeling kind of funny, but I have a cup of tea by me, I have some water, I have my blanket, I have a box of tissues, and most importantly of all, I have StarCraft 2, so with these things, with these items, I think I can get through any kind of disease or ailment or anything like that. So, Goody putting down his barracks, pretty usual thing. Surprised that he's not walling off. He just kind of set the SCV, and then once it had enough minerals to put down the barracks, he just threw it down. Really interested to see if Goody will be meching on this map against Protoss mech. Not really the most, not the most practical thing to go against Protoss players. Heart of Swarm is going to hopefully be more viable, but we'll have to see how that's developing. Hellbat's kind of in a weird position right now where it's kind of overpowered, but it's also a unit that doesn't make much sense. And the mines are good, but I don't really see how that makes Terran mech viable quite yet. So we'll see how that works. This is, of course, Wings of Liberty, and Heart of the Swarm will be coming out March 12th, and then when Heart of the Swarm comes out, I will be switching to Heart of the Swarm full-time, casting Heart of the Swarm games. Yeah, very excited to be doing that. I'm going to be doing a lot of co-casting thanks to that shared replay. And I'm going to start Kadoink Studios back up hopefully soon, as it's kind of been on a bit of a hiatus. So Goody is going for the fast expand, very usual play. Getting the command center down on the low ground, which is not at all risky. Some players might consider it risky, but you can do that pretty safely and deal with a whole variety of early game things. In fact, if you put a bunker down at about 18 supply, you should be fine. Goody's not doing that. He's playing a little bit more risky. Didn't wall off, not getting a bunker. But he has his SCV over here. He knows that Sheggi is planning on taking an expansion, and isn't really worried of any kind of early attack. So, SCV coming in, doing a bit more scouting, was damaged by the probe, the Zealot trying to get to it, and the SCV trying to get up to the ramp. So the question is, will Sheggi be able to take out this SCV? The Nexus does go down finally, a little bit late thanks to that SCV delay, and, oh man, this Zealot is so zoning this SCV, and the Stalker comes up and picks it off, of course. Little smiley face from Sheggi. So, one gate. Cyber Core Nexus, very usual Protoss build, adding that assimilator as well, and then you can add 2 gates shortly after that. Go into Robo, go into various things you want to go into, so just for you new Protoss players out there, it's kind of a rough outline of some things you can do. Very common build against Terran is the 1 gate expand. Second assimilator going down, so I think we'll have a bit of aggression coming out of Sheggi. We'll see what he decides to do with these gates, and will he put down a Robo. He is getting a Sentry up, which tends to be a bit more defensive, but we'll have to see what he decides to do. First 2 gases finally going down for Goody, so Goody not going to be doing any kind of mech play. He did opt to go for the 3 racks without refineries. Common build is 3 racks with refineries, and you can get a really early stem. But Goody not really doing that, kind of doing a bit of a different build. It's going to allow him to have a lot more Marines out, but they're not going to have any upgrades. Stalker out in the front. Uh-oh, this could be bad. Stalker, of course, is going to get away, but if you're not paying attention and you lose that first Stalker, which, oh, man, is very much a possibility for Sheggi if he's not too careful. If you lose that first Stalker, it's really a pain. This Marine's going to be going up, and they're going to run into, oh my gosh, 3 Stalkers. This is actually really bad for Goody. Fortunately, a little bit of missed micro from Sheggi sending the Stalkers through that ramp, and now they'll be able to go into that bunker. So like I said, this bunker prevents so many things from happening. In fact, Goody is going to put a second down because he knows that Sheggi is going for aggressive play. Robo finally going down for Sheggi. Tends to lead me to believe that this pressure was just kind of feigned. Kind of showed 4 Stalkers and said, okay, I'm gonna gear up for an attack, but now Goody has to get up his second bunker and worry about defenses. But behind this, Sheggi is actually saying, no, I'm going to put down a robotics facility, I'm going to get an observer up, and then I'm going to probably go into Colossus. So kind of feigning a little bit of pressure and then switching back and starting to attack. Very smart play. That's what's nice about having the second assimilator. The second assimilator can cause a lot of early aggression. You can build a lot of sentries, you can build a lot of Stalkers. Sentry, of course, being good for force fielding the bunkers, and Stalkers are just good in general. But you can also tech with double gas. So Protoss play is very, very open when you go for double gas. It's kind of like Terran. If you go for double gas, you could go for something like an early starport, get a Banshee up, something like that. Or you can just sit back and get your double E-bays and work on your factories and starports. So getting early gas early on, double gas early on, is quite good. It's quite versatile, gives you a lot of options. Have a third gas on for Goody, very common timing for this third gas. He'll be adding a fourth one very shortly. After that, he's of course getting the medevacs, using that factory to build the reactor. And yeah, just sitting at home, macroing up. Very common stuff. He does have a missile turret so that he doesn't have to worry about any kind of DT play. And he's got his double bunkers. He's getting up Marauders, getting up that stem, combat shield, and of course +1 attack. Back in Sheggi's base, we see that the Colossus Robo Bay has finished. He's going double forge, so his upgrades is going to be a little bit behind at first, but with chrono boosts, Sheggi should be able to catch up and actually pull ahead, considering that he has 2 forges and Goody only has 1 engineering bay, which I don't know where that engineering bay is. Right here. One of the things that's nice about Heart of the Swarm is there's actually a Structures tab, and you can click up on the Structures tab and it'll take you right there. It's really, really cool. I was playing around with the Heart of the Swarm shared replay thing the other day. So we do have 2 more gates going down, as well as the Twilight Council researching Zealot legs. Very common. Zealots are actually really good in PvT. Mass Zealots with Archon and Templar can actually be really strong. And in fact, Mass Zealots with Colossi is very strong, because you really want a lot of Marines to deal with Mass Zealots because of the high DPS. But the Colossus can do a lot of damage to Mass Marines, so it's a bit of a trade-off, and the Protoss army is very strong in that situation. So Goody is going to be moving forward, 2 medevacs, as well as some Marines. We have a good bit of sentries out for Sheggi, 4 in total. He does have the the Colossi. Warping in some Zealots at this time. It looks like Zealot legs will not finish, but this is a very strong timing from Sheggi, or it was. He's about to finish combat shields, but I guess he's decided not to attack. I think he could have done damage, especially considering he had his medevacs and the Stalkers were over here. He might have been able to do some damage, but it's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with playing safe. This factory delaying the Nexus just for a little bit, and then it will be floating away. Have some more Zealots reinforcing with Sheggi's army, making it a little bit more beefier. I don't like that Colossi just kind of being out alone. It's very scary. Can very easily just get picked off by a stemmed group of Marines and Marauders. Just come in, pick it off, leave. So Goody, with control of the center, getting his Vikings up. He's got 4 in total, but as you can see on the production tab earlier, Templar Archives did go down, so Colossus switch will be happening. Templar switch will be happening. We have Storm on its way, but now that Goody has some Vikings, he can start to push forward. There's only 1 Colossus, and he sees that, and 2 Vikings are going to be well sufficient for that. And Sheggi knows that he's in a little bit of trouble, so he's going to be pulling back. We'll most likely see some force fields on the ramp just to prevent the Terran army from getting up. But a stem happening from Goody. It looks like he wants to engage here. The Zealots moving forward, closing the gap because of that Zealot legs. It's a great force fields going down, trapping all of the Marines. The Marauders are able to stay in the back, which is very, very good for Goody. because he is able to pick off a lot of those Zealots, and now Sheggy's in a lot of trouble. Force filling the ramp again, getting a nice little clump of units, warping in some more Stalkers, but this is very scary. It looks like Goody is going to be able to take Sheggy's Nexus down. Some Zealots, being warped in at this time. The Nexus getting dangerously low. It is going to go down, but now the Terran army is, of course, trapped. He will be able to get some out with that medevac, but it won't be very much. But he's going to pick out a lot of units as he goes down. He's in a good position trying to reduce the Zealot concave, but actually losing everything. He could have picked up and left with some of those medevacs. Would have been a smart choice. As you can see, the units lost is not as far apart as it should have been had he just lifted up with the medevac and left. But now we have High Templar, and this is going to be very, very scary for the Terran army. I don't think he has a Ghost Academy yet. In fact, he's just putting down his Ghost Academy now. Kind of did overkill on the Vikings because the Colossus production stopped a long time ago. In fact, he only built that one. More gates going down, indicating that he wants to be sticking with the Templar army for a bit. Usually, if you want to keep going Colossus in the late game, you can add a second robotics facility and start pumping them out 2 at a time, and that's very effective. But the one thing in Goody's advantage is he does have this third base where Sheggy does not. Sheggy's base is just now being built. If we look at the income tab, it is very much in Goody's favor. Actually, way in Goody's favor by almost 1,000 minerals. Actually, yeah, well over 1,000 with the help of mules, of course. Goody throwing down some photo cannons. I totally messed up that sentence. Sheggy putting down some photon cannons so that he can prevent any kind of late game drops. Goody moving across the map with his large Viking Marine Marauder force, which is going to meet a no Colossus army. We do have the High Templar, and he is going to be backing up the second he sees that. That's one of the great advantages of having those Vikings, is you can kind of do a little bit of scouting. However, the army supply is quite low for Sheggy. We can see it's only at 60 to the 92 of Goody. So if Goody's engagements are good, he might be able to actually take Sheggy out. Do of course have +3 on the way for Sheggy, while Goody is only just now starting his +2. That's exactly what I was talking about before with Sheggy getting that double forge up early. Those upgrades are going to make a huge difference, especially with those Zealots that are going to close that gap very quickly and just do a ton of damage. So I think Sheggy is going to wait for +3 to finish. He's going to morph in some Archons, let these Templar get full energy, and then he's going to be pushing forward. It's nice that he has map control, a scan, of course, going down to see where Sheggy is. Goody knows for sure that he has the watchtower, and so he is just going to hold back here. He landed his Vikings. He's kind of split up his Marine Marauder force so that Storms can't really do that much damage. This is exactly what you want to do. You do have a Warp Prism that I suspect will be either just to use to get reinforcements on the map, or maybe he'll do some Warp Prism drops with High Templar or something like that. That would be very, very effective. So, like I was saying, Zealot, Archon, High Templar army, very, very strong. We're going to see how it does against Goody's army. I don't know if he should engage this kind of split force. This Viking here doing some scouting. Sheggy doing a bit of spreading on his own. This is risky from the good concave and spread of Goody, but a great storm going down, a second great storm as well. Oh man, a third. The High Templar are doing tons of damage. The Ghosts aren't really doing anything, in fact, and this could be the end of Goody. I'm so shocked at how Sheggy was just able to run into that split force and do this much damage. The +3 is so effective against +2. And Sheggy's just going to pull back now and attack the third, which is so smart. No, he's actually just going to run away. But we can see in the units lost, now it is extremely in Sheggy's favor. We have an Archon just kind of dying there. But, yeah, wow, +3, 3-3 against 1-1. So effective in this game. The Storms were pretty good. Goody was not able to get off that many snipes or EMPs, so the High Templar were able to just kind of storm everything. But I think it was the upgrades that really made the battle right there. So anyway, Warp Prism in the middle of the map to reinforce. Going to be warping in some Zealots. Very smart choice, I think, at this point. In fact, Sheggy might want to to engage again. I mean, he has his army back up. We can see the army supply is now in Sheggy's favor for probably the first time in the game. Have a rogue command center just kind of flying out into the middle of the map. I don't know what he was doing, but you need to go home, buddy. Yeah, that could have been quite bad. Anyway, Zealot army moving forward. A great spread from Sheggi. This could be the last engagement. In fact, there's not that much of an army. He has too many ghosts here. Not enough Marines. The Marauders aren't going to be able to do that much damage to these Zealots. Their DPS is just not high enough. Some great EMP is going down, but I don't think it's going to be enough. This Protoss army is just way too massive. Actually, a great position for Goody, but I don't think it'll be enough considering the Stalker and Archon count is still pretty high, and Goody is going to tap out here. No, just leaving the game, not saying GG. Wow, so yeah, great engagements from Sheggi, player who has proven time and time again that he is good at those engagements. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this cast. Hopefully it was alright. I think I managed to get through this with my developing cold, but hopefully it'll be gone by next week, and I'll have another cast for you next week. So, if you'd like to see more non-esports related things, we have a lot of YouTube videos going up. We have a lot of Let's Plays and a lot of StarCraft 2 videos, of course. So go to youtube.com/user/non-esportsofficial and subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment, do all those fun, exciting things. Also go to the Non-eSports website, pop it open on Google Chrome if you don't speak German, and you can just hit that translate button and find out all the exciting news and things that are going on with Non-eSports. We've just got a Black Ops 2 team, we just got a Counter-Strike Go team, so Non-eSports definitely expanding, definitely doing some very exciting, good things. Yeah, and finally, just continue to watch StarCraft, get Heart of the Swarm, and continue to be excited about esports. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.